Welcome back, guys. Good morning. How are you doing that side? Welcome to Tech Talk Uganda. So we have been looking at ungrouped data. So after we looked at what we called central tendencies, measurements of central tendencies. Then we looked at measurements of dispersions. Then we are under examples showing us how we can calculate mean, mode when we combine them together. So before me I have one example which reads, the following data shows the numbers of children in certain randomly chosen families in Oima district. The data which is given is here. You have 1, 2, 2 up to 3, 3. So they have said they are taking this data from certain families chosen at random. But the first task which they want us to do is to represent the information which they have given on frequency distribution table, and then after representing the information on frequency distribution table, we calculate the mean and the standard deviation. What I need you to record is the method used to calculate mean and then the method used to calculate the frequency, the standard deviation. But first and foremost, we said if they have given you values or data values, when the number is appearing more than one time, when you are drawing your frequency distribution table, you make sure you include what we call tally columns, which help you to identify which numbers appeared how many times before going to the frequency. So let us start tackling our question. Solution. We are going to start with the first question, which is representing the information on the frequency distribution table. The information is for the number of children in a given families which are chosen at random in Oima district. So we say let the number of children in this family be X. So our variable will be X, and we said our first column always will have variable X. So let the number of children in these families be X. Then we shall have our variable X. So our variable X, you come and identify the biggest value and the smallest value. So the number for children here, we are ranging from 0, and then I'm seeing also 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the values which I'm seeing. I'm seeing 1, which is here, 0 is here, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then the first column is done. The first row, then the fifth one. The rest are being repeated. We said when these values are repeating, what we do to organize them in frequency table, to include the column which we call tally. This tally column, we use it to find the number of times each number is appearing, or is a variable is appearing. So we start. We said when you are including or when you are representing tally, you cross the number this side, and then you represent it with a straight line. And then that's what we are going to do. We shall start with the first. After crossing the first one, we shall go and represent it with a straight line. Then the second, the fourth, you do it up to when you finish, but make sure put the values where it is supposed to go. Don't first wait that let me first cross 2 and then I put them at once. You will forget. So to eliminate the marks loss due to forgetting which value you crossed and you did not represent, you better be representing at once as you are crossing. So we have 2, another 2. So when they reach 2 and they make 5 times, we make sure you tie this bundle, and then we start another fresh. So this one is meaning that we applied 1, 2, 3, there 5. Then this one, go to the third one, 2 again, 2 again, then 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 now is making 5, we shall tie it. Then we have 2, 0, 1, 1 also is making 5, we shall tie it. And then we have 2 is making another 5, we tie this bundle. Then 0 is 3, then you represent 3, 2 again, 3, and then another 3. So those are our telling of the numbers the way they are appearing in the question. So immediately we finish that, we said we include what we call frequency. The column for frequency is then included, and we said frequency present it as F. And this frequency is representing the number of times each variable is appearing. So we start with 0. Since we use tally which simplified our work, we are just going to count the number of sticks which we have here will represent the frequency of that variable. So this stick for 0, we have 1, 2, 3, implying here the number of families are 3. Implying in 3 families they did not get any child in these 3 families, and then in 1 where they got 1 child, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 families. Then this one 2, we are having 2 bundles of 5, 5, that one is 10, and then plus 1 we have 11, and then 3 we have 1 bundle of 5, and then plus 3 which is 8. Then 4 we have only 2, and then for 5 we have only 1. So we say that immediately you finish the column of frequency, make sure you sum or you get the total frequency at once here below the last value. So the summation of F equals to, we shall add 3 plus 5 we get 8, plus 11 we shall get 19, plus 8 we shall get 23, 7 plus 2, we shall get 29. Then plus 1, we shall get 30. So 30 correspond to the number of families which were chosen, and they say they took numbers of children in 30 families. So if you get, or by mistake you get yours here is 28 or 27 or even 31, just know there is a part you didn't consider, or there is a mistake you made in copying either the question or forming tally lines, or you added an extra data which was not supposed to be there. So be careful with copying such questions. Once you fail to copy the question, implies whatever will come after that one is not correct. So after finishing that, you proceed. This frequency distribution table, we shall make it in line with the calculations which we are going to make. For example, we are going to calculate mean and standard deviation. In your mind, you should know what does it require for me to calculate mean. You should know the formula, and then you know what it needs. And then you include that value in the frequency distribution table. And then after, you also see what standard deviation requires. You also include it in the frequency distribution table. So to start with, we know that mean will be summation of fx. So summation of fx, that one obviously will mean that we shall need to have a column for frequency times the variable x, which is fx. Here you multiply the variable x times the frequency to get the values of fx. So to get the summation, after you have got the values, you get what we call the total values of fx in that column, and then you note it down. So we shall start with the first one. Fx means f times x or x times the f. So we shall get 0 times 3, we shall get 0. Then 1 times 5 shall get 5. 2 times 11 shall get 22. 3 times 8 shall get 24. And then 4 times 2 we shall get 8. Then 5 times 1 shall get 5. What do we need to do next? We said immediately finish that column, we must get what we need. That is the summation of fx, which is equals to, then you calculate. You can use a calculator, or if you trust your head, you can use your own head. Let us add 0 plus 5 shall have 5. Then 22 plus 5 shall get 27. 27 plus 24, we shall get 51. 51 plus 8, we shall get 59. 59 plus 5, we shall get 64. Then what are we missing? Now here mean is covered. What we are missing is standard deviation. What do we need? We need what we call summation of fx squared. Summation of fx squared. So summation of fx squared, some people, sometimes you may just put it direct as fx squared. But if you don't want to misfire or to do any error concerning multiplication, you can first take the values of x squared alone, and then you get the values of f times the x squared. So for our case, let us take one by one. We first get the values of x squared, and then after we get the values of fx squared. What is the value of x squared? We have 0 times x, 0 squared, which I get 0. 1 squared, we get 1. 2 squared, will give us 4. 3 squared, which I get 9. 4 squared, which I get 16. Then 5 squared, which I get 25. So those are the values of x squared. But what we need the values of fx squared. F times the x, which is squared. So what here we shall do? We shall add another column of fx squared. So this column we shall multiply x times the x squared times the f. Let me first bring my calculator. Okay, here we go. Now to multiply the values of f times the values of x squared. Values of f times values of x squared. So we shall have f, which is 3 times x squared. In this case we have 0, shall get 0. Then 5 times 5 shall get, it is 5 times 1, shall get 5. 11 times 4 shall get 44. 8 times 9 shall get 72. 2 times